I just closed a $12,000 contract for a single technical grant application that took exactly 4 hours of actual work. While most people are using AI to write mediocre tweets or generic blog posts that get zero traction, there is a massive, underserved market in high-stakes technical documentation. Government agencies and private foundations are handing out billions in non-dilutive funding to tech startups, but the barrier to entry is a massive, 300-page pile of bureaucratic paperwork that most founders do not have the time or the patience to touch. That is where you come in. You are not a writer. You are a technical architect using AI to bridge the gap between a founder's vision and the government's rigid requirements. The reason most people fail at this is because they try to use ChatGPT to write the entire grant in one go. That is a guaranteed way to get rejected. These agencies use their own AI detection and, more importantly, they have human experts who can smell a generic, hallucinated response from a mile away. If you want to make $10,000 per client, you have to stop treating AI like a ghostwriter and start treating it like a specialized engineering department. Here is the exact workflow I use to secure these contracts and execute them with a 90% success rate. First, you need to understand that you are not looking for general business grants for a local coffee shop. You are looking for SBIR and STTR grants, Small Business Innovation Research. These are specifically for companies developing new technology. The government does not want a marketing plan, they want a technical roadmap. Most grant writers charge $5,000 just to look at an application because it is a nightmare of a task. I charge $12,000 because I do not just look at it, I build it. The process starts with the RFP, the request for proposal. This is usually a 50 to 100-page PDF of dense, boring requirements. Most people read it and get a headache. I feed it into Claude 3.5 Sonnet. I do not ask it to summarize. I ask it to create a compliance matrix. I tell the AI, extract every single explicit and implicit requirement from this document and list them in a table with the exact page number and the specific criteria for a passing grade. Within 30 seconds, I have a roadmap that used to take a human 3 days to compile. This matrix is your Bible. If the grant says you need a 5-year commercialization plan with a specific focus on underserved markets, that goes in the matrix. If it requires a bio-sketch of every lead engineer with a specific word count, that goes in the matrix. Once you have the requirements, you need the raw material. This is where most AI enthusiasts get it wrong. They try to make up the technical details. You cannot do that. You need to get on a 1-hour call with the founder or the lead engineer of the startup. Do not take notes. Record the call using a tool like Fireflies or Otter. Ask them specific, pointed questions. What is the core innovation? What is the current technology readiness level? What are the specific technical hurdles you have not solved yet? Why is your approach better than the current industry standard? Take that transcript, which is usually a mess of filler words and half-finished thoughts, and feed it into a custom-tuned AI environment. Your prompt needs to be surgical. You tell the AI, you are a senior technical grant reviewer for the National Science Foundation. Using the attached transcript and the compliance matrix, draft the technical narrative section. Focus on the specific innovation mentioned on page 12 of the transcript, but expand on the thermodynamic principles involved. This is where the magic happens. You are not asking the AI to be creative. You are asking it to synthesize technical data into a specific format. After you have the first draft, you move to phase 3, the iterative refinement. This is where you earn the $12,000. You take the AI's draft and you cross-reference it against the compliance matrix. If the AI missed the environmental impact statement, you send it back. If the tone is too promotional, you tell it to adopt a neutral, academic, peer-reviewed tone. I have found that Claude 3.5 is significantly better at this than GPT-4. It follows instructions better and it does not use the flowery, predictable nonsense that GPT loves to produce. You want the prose to be dry, factual, and incredibly dense. One of the most critical parts of a grant is the commercialization plan. The government wants to know how their investment will eventually make money and create jobs. This is where most founders struggle because they are scientists, not businessmen. I use AI to analyze the current market size and competitor landscape using Perplexity for real-time data, then I feed that data back into Claude to draft a 10-page commercialization strategy that aligns perfectly with the grant's specific goals. Now, let's talk about the money. How do you find these clients? You do not go to Upwork. You go to LinkedIn and you search for seed-stage founders or Series A tech startups in sectors like ag tech, med tech, or clean energy. These companies have just raised money or are trying to, and they are desperate for non-dilutive capital. You send them a direct message that says, "I saw you are working on a new carbon capture technology. There is a $2 million Department of Energy grant closing in 6 weeks. I have built an AI-assisted workflow that handles the documentation and compliance for these. You provide the technical specs, I handle the 300-page submission." You do not charge hourly. Hourly is for people who do not know the value of their time. You charge a flat project fee, usually $5,000 to $7,000 upfront, and a success fee of 3 to 5% of the total grant amount. If you help a company land a $2 million grant, your 3% success fee is $60,000. That is one client. One document. One outcome. The reason this works right now is because there is a massive disconnect. The people who know how to write grants are usually older professionals who do not understand AI. They are still typing things out manually and charging $20,000 for a 3-month turnaround. The people who understand AI are usually 20-somethings who do not understand the complexity of a federal grant. By combining the two, you are providing a service that is literally 10 times faster and more accurate than the traditional competition. I have seen traditional grant writing firms take 3 months to do what I can now do in 10 days. And because I am using AI to ensure compliance, my rejection rate is nearly zero. Rejections usually happen because a human forgot to include a specific form or did not address a minor subpoint on page 84 of the RFP. The AI does not forget. It checks the compliance matrix 1,000 times a second. If you are worried about AI detection, do not be. The government does not care if you used AI to help structure the document as long as the technical information is accurate and the project is viable. They care about the science, not whether you typed every word by hand. To start today, you do not need a degree in grant writing. You need a subscription to Claude, a way to record and transcribe calls, and the ability to read a technical document without falling asleep. Pick a niche. Do not be a generalist. If you focus on AI for healthcare grants, you will quickly learn the specific jargon and requirements that the NIH looks for. That specialized knowledge makes your prompts better and your results faster. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You actually have to understand the technology your clients are building. But if you are willing to do the work of setting up the systems, you can easily pull in 6 figures a year working 20 hours a month. Stop chasing the latest AI image generator trend. Stop trying to sell low-quality ebooks on Amazon. Go where the capital is already flowing. The government is the biggest spender in the world, and they are literally begging for companies to take this money. You are just the one providing the map. If you want to scale this, you do not hire writers. You hire a junior researcher to find the RFPs and a virtual assistant to manage the founder interviews. Your job is to be the prompt engineer and the final editor. You are the one who ensures the AI's output matches the government's input. This is the highest leverage use of AI I have found in the last 2 years. It is boring, it is technical, and it is incredibly lucrative. That is exactly why you should be doing it before everyone else figures it out. If you want my specific prompt library for technical grant writing, check the link in the description. Otherwise, start reading those RFPs. The money is there if you are willing to be the one who does the paperwork.